Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're unpacking a really fascinating shift happening right now in the food and beverage industry. We're going to break down how the explosive rise of food delivery, some increasingly strict government regulations, and of course, the rapid evolution of AI are completely transforming what it actually means to hold a chef's license in Taiwan. Because, look, it's no longer just about knowing your way around a kitchen, it's honestly about surviving a massive industry-wide transformation.
Okay, let's dive right into this by asking ourselves a really simple question about our own daily habits. Seriously, think about it for a second. When was the last time you actually cooked a full meal totally from scratch? Peeled the garlic, marinated the meat, stood over the hot stove for an hour. For a whole lot of us, that traditional concept of home cooking is just fading away. It's simply not how our daily lives flow anymore. And the global data backs this up perfectly. When we look at the OECD demographic trends, it's basically a perfect storm driving us away from the kitchen. We've got a massive spike in dual-income families where, let's be real, nobody has the energy to cook after working all day. Then there's the huge rise in single-person households where cooking for one is just, well, it's exhausting and not very cost-effective. Throw in an aging population, and what happens? We end up relying more heavily than ever before on eating out and letting professional kitchens do the heavy lifting.
So over in Taiwan, this heavy reliance has actually caused their delivery market to mature incredibly fast. Led by the big players like foodpanda and Uber Eats, the market has officially shifted away from that wild, unpredictable hypergrowth phase we saw a few years ago. Now we're looking at a steady, projected growth rate of 5.5%. The market has grown up, right? The fierce competition now is entirely about operational efficiency, tightening up cost control, and absolutely crucial here, food safety.
Because delivery isn't just for a cheeky Friday night hot meal anymore. Consumers are getting fresh foods, their morning iced coffee, supermarket hauls, and literally everyday necessities dropped right at their door. Delivery has fundamentally evolved from a random convenience into a deeply ingrained lifestyle habit. And because of this massive behavioral shift, the actual volume of cooking is moving out of private homes and squarely into professional commercial kitchens. And naturally, that demands a major pivot towards strict safety and regulation.
Section 1. A new food ecosystem. Safety and compliance.
The government is aggressively stepping up to manage all of this. The Taiwan Food and Drug Administration, the TFDA, is rolling out some very strict, highly targeted audits for 2025. They are not messing around. They're zeroing in on good hygiene practices, demanding crystal-clear food labeling, enforcing strict health management for workers, double-checking product liability insurance, and bringing some really heavy oversight to the booming cloud kitchen sector. Basically, the days of operating under the radar, they're totally over.
Here's the kicker. You can't just hire anyone off the street to run these high-volume kitchens anymore. By law, a massive chunk of a kitchen staff must actually hold a specialized, officially recognized chef's license. If you're running a general restaurant, about 50% of your staff needs to be licensed. Doing catering, that jumps to 75%. And if you're operating inside a tourist hotel, a staggering 85% of the culinary staff must legally hold that license.
And let's be absolutely clear about how far-reaching this actually is. You know those cloud kitchens? The ones with zero dine-in space that never even see a customer face-to-face? Yeah, they don't get a free pass. They are legally required to meet the exact same commercial registration, the exact same food safety protocols, and those exact same licensed chef ratios as a traditional brick-and-mortar restaurant. Literally zero loopholes here.
Section 2. Redefining the chef license.
So think about the license itself for a second. In the past, it was basically just proof of basic cooking skills, right? A ticket to get an entry-level job frying eggs or chopping veggies. But looking toward the future, this license is completely evolving into a high-level corporate credential. It's shifting into a critical tool for managing overarching food safety, building brand trust with the public, and overseeing really complex standard operating procedures. It's rapidly becoming a management credential, not just a certificate that says you can cook.
But to fully grasp where this credential is going, we can't just look at government regulations. We absolutely have to factor the explosive growth of artificial intelligence into this whole ecosystem. Like, how is AI going to change how we order, and in turn, how all this food is prepared?
Well, generative AI is actively wiping out the friction of ordering food. We're staring down a near future completely filled with AI personal assistants that know your exact tastes, systems offering personalized dietary advice, health management integrations, and incredibly smart recommendation algorithms. If ordering the perfect, macro-balanced, customized meal becomes totally effortless thanks to AI, it's going to push even more volume away from the home kitchen and directly into these highly regulated professional ones.
Section 3. The Future Forecast.
All right, let's map out exactly how the value of this license is projected to change over time. We can break this evolution down into 3 really distinct phases based on the report. We see a steady progression, starting with a very heavy focus on regulatory compliance in the short term. Then, moving into the medium term, the focus totally shifts to deep operational management skills. And finally, in the long term, we hit a massive bifurcation in the industry's required skill sets. Let's dig into each of these.
So in the short term, looking at 2026 to 2030, the value of the chef's license is going to peak specifically around legal compliance. Businesses are going to be scrambling just to survive the TFDA's new, strict, normalized audits. Plus, there are new mandates hitting in 2026 that require certain chain restaurants to hire highly specialized food professionals. During this phase, just holding a license makes you an absolute necessity for a restaurant to legally keep its doors open.
Moving into the medium term, which spans 2030 to 2038, the entire landscape shifts. As these massive central kitchens expand to feed all that delivery and AI-driven demand we talked about, the industry is going to desperately need licensed professionals who are true managers, not just line cooks. They need people who can maintain ruthless quality control across huge volumes, create and enforce strict operating procedures, train junior staff, and actually integrate AI into kitchen management. The license basically proves you have the capacity for this kind of high-level oversight. And that brings us to the really fascinating 2038 long-term forecast. By this point, the industry skill set totally bifurcates, splits in 2. Basic, repetitive cooking skills are going to be heavily threatened by automation, robotics, and advanced smart kitchen equipment. But on the flip side, chefs armed with high-level safety knowledge, central kitchen management skills, and cross-store operational abilities, they become incredibly, undeniably valuable. The license will literally be the dividing line separating the easily replaceable cook from the indispensable culinary manager.
To summarize the ultimate finding of this whole analysis, it really boils down to this single idea. The chef license's value is shifting away from being a simple personal employment qualification into being a core, foundational component of corporate food safety management and brand trust. It's becoming the very backbone of how a modern, high-volume food corporation proves to both the public and the government that their food is actually safe to eat. So I'm going to leave you with this final, somewhat provocative thought to chew on. In a fast-approaching future where almost nobody cooks at home and AI is handling all of our dietary planning, will you trust a highly automated machine to actually cook your dinner as long as a licensed, highly trained human expert is the one running the safety protocols? It is a brand new culinary world out there, folks. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and keep questioning how the world around you is changing.